All right, so we're now joined by UT Arlington head coach Chris Ogden. Chris, thanks so much for joining us today. You're our third coach of the week.
Oh, nice. Well, thank you. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Also, yeah, definitely. First question, want to start out. I'll give you a softball here to start out, but I'm interested. Is the mustache going to be making a return in 2020?
Absolutely, man.
Okay.
Absolutely. There's one game a year that when we play at Texas State, and Danny
Mm-hmm.
Casper, who's just a really a guy that I have a lot of respect for. But he's, for a while he's had the best mustache in the business,
Yeah.
so before game one when we played there my first year here, I I just told my guys, look, we're in for a fight, and we're going to start the fight off, not losing the mustache battle. And so every year, yeah, I will have the mustache for the game at Texas State.
That was like a triple overtime game the first year, right?
Double overtime the
Double
first,
overtime?
triple overtime at our place this year. We've had some good games with those guys.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think you won the first year. What was the result the second year? Did you?
Well, we had beat them 3 straight times until this year they beat us
Okay.
in overtime.
Yeah. So you obviously were coach of the year, your rookie year, I guess you could call it. After that, this past year, it was an up and down year for sure. But despite the 14-18 record, 10-10 in conference, it seemed like, I mean, all the metrics loved you still, and Ken Palm had you as the fifth unluckiest team in the nation. You had some great defensive stats. I mean, you defended the hell out of the 3-point line. You took care of the ball. Assist to turnover ratio was great. Did it just come down to simply not making enough shots? I mean, your 3-point percentage was pretty low compared to how many 3-point shots you attempted. So is that basically what it all came down to?
It was a big part of it. I think we literally lost 4 games at the buzzer.
Yeah.
They shoot a tough shot, 3, 2, 1, no time on, bang.
Mm-hmm.
So that happens, and the year before it feels like we won our share of those. So, but yeah, it came down to not making shots. We didn't turn the ball over a lot. We defended well, but not making shots was big, and rebounding. And so we really tried to address those 2 areas in recruiting. We felt rebounding lost us the most games.
Mm-hmm.
But making shots was right there with it.
Yeah, and we're from Jersey. We bet on a lot of sports. We loved betting on you guys. We were always expecting the shots to start falling, and sometimes they would, sometimes they didn't. The Coastal Carolina situation though was interesting because you were like the only team that they could beat. Was that just by chance, or do you think that there was a matchup issue there?
A little bit of a matchup issue. We didn't match up well with them. They had a pretty good interior along with a really good point guard, and for whatever reason we didn't match up well with them.
Yeah.
One of those games I got tossed early on. And, I was just off my rocker, but yeah, it was a tough matchup, and we lost the last one being literally at the buzzer to end our
Yeah,
season.
that one was real tough. I think you're up 10 in the second half in that game, right?
Yeah, we were up. We were up in the first game too. We controlled the whole game until probably about 7 minutes left, and they took control.
Yep.
So going into the last season, and particularly in the non-conference, you guys at Arlington, you scheduled a really brutal non-conference schedule, both the season before and this past season. And I mean, this year, just looking at it, it's just a lot of tough. I mean, you had a Gonzaga, you wound up beating Tulsa, and you had the close loss to Furman. There was North Texas, Houston, just a lot of really brutal games. But ultimately, I think you would think that that made the team better from that. Is this tough scheduling kind of going to remain your plan going forward, and you're going to keep trying to do it?
Yeah, we probably won't do quite the gauntlet we did year one, but we'll continue to schedule tough. I mean, already on our schedule for next year, we have at North Texas, which they won their league last year.
Mm-hmm.
We have Nevada returning here, which we know they're a really good Mountain West team. We're at Tulsa, which they finished at the top of their league last year. We're at Oral Roberts. I think they finished at the top of their league last year. we'll end up playing 2 high majors. I don't know which 2 that is yet. We're still in contract talks with them, but we'll continue to try to play tough games. Like to play teams like us. The Furman game was a good one, and a game we felt like we shoulda, coulda, woulda. But I want to play. I want to play elite teams. I want to play Power 5 teams, and I want to play good mid-major teams. I just think that's how you test your team.
Absolutely. And honestly, I mean, looking at it too, you guys lost by 6 at Gonzaga, and Gonzaga is a powerhouse at this point. So, especially given the fact that you guys got, beat pretty badly there the year before, obviously you can kind of see the improvements being made by having that tough schedule.
Yeah, no question. I do believe year 1 it got us ready for conference quicker than maybe we would have been, and allowed us to get on a run a little bit. Year 2, I think we were setting up for the same thing. We just, an injury here can totally change your team.
Mm-hmm.
And Wamba went down. Everybody had to shift, and now everybody's out of the puzzle doesn't fit, and we could never figure it out last year. But I do think playing those games early on, it gives you an honest look at your team. You get a real feel for what you have, what guys can and can't do, and you learn the truth early on, which allows you to get better.
Yeah. So the Sun Belt in general, we've seen it. It's been competitive and improving. Really since Little Rock went to the tournament, beat Purdue, Middle Tennessee before they left the league, and then we had Georgia State, obviously with Ron Hunter. But it's been a bit of a challenge for the conference to kind of keep these guys in the conference in terms of the coaches. Ron Hunter left, Chris Beard, obviously, Grant McCaslin, more recently even Mark Byington this past season. Obviously, there's all different circumstances surrounding all these guys, but what do you think is kind of missing from the conference to where these guys, is it just a money thing where they want to, leave the conference, go get more money? Or do you think that there's an institutional issue here in the Sun Belt?
I wouldn't say institutional issue. Money plays a big factor in it, certainly. But I think also, right now we are a 1-bid league. So you can have as good a preseason as you want, conference as you want. If you don't win that tournament, you're not going to the tournament, right? And so and we're all on board with that, and that is the way it is. But I think as a coach, you desire to have a real chance to play. It's all about the NCAA tournament. We all want to play in it. We all want to coach in it. It really gets to everything I think about with my team is how do we get to that tournament and win a game in that tournament.
Right.
So I think coaches, they move sometimes for leagues that have multi-bids and stuff like that. So I think there's a few things that play into it. But I do think our league is strong enough, and I think we got leadership at the conference level that at some point, and we're doing it now, we're trying to build toward a 2-bid league. And what has to happen with that is our non-conference schedules. We've got to have really respectable, good non-conference schedules.
Yeah, very good last year.
Yeah, you're leading the way there, so it's you're on the right track. All right, let's talk about your roster a little bit. Obviously, big piece Brian Warren going. Also, a couple other guys are on the way out just due to graduation. Warren was your big facilitator, even though he had maybe a down shooting year last year. Is the plan to move Azor to the point and let him play on the ball more, or are you going to bring in is Shahada Wells going to kind of assume that Warren role?
Yeah, I don't. David Azor is a very versatile player and a very good playmaker for us, but he's not a point. He can think like a point guard and stuff, but I think primary ball handler wise, it'll be Nick Alame, who took over the duties late in the season last year. Shahada Wells is coming in and is a really, really fantastic player from Howard Junior College. And I think between those two guys, Sam Griffin's a guy that can really handle the basketball. We've got and then Jordan Phillips is a guy that played out of position a lot last year. That in some ways his best position is point guard. He can really handle the basketball and get by people, play make. So we've got enough playmakers. I think we've got enough guys where the ball's in their hand. Who takes that role as the guy that runs the team? That's up to them. I think that the player, the biggest alpha, will just go take it, and we'll know, and everybody will know. And then but then we surrounded them with shooters now. We're adding another shooter here in a few days, and we've added some shooting around them. So we're getting to where we need to be.
Yeah. Also, you bring in Grayson Carter from Georgetown, who was a sit-out transfer. You guys? I know you like to play small. What's the plan for him?
Well, he gives you the ability to play small and big. He can play the 5 position and give you some real versatility, but yet some size, and allow you to play someone like David Azor at the 4, although you'd be going 4 guards at that point. So you could go small with Grayson at the 5, but then you play bigger teams, you can go Grayson at the 4. He's very high IQ. He can shoot it. He's skilled. So you can play 2 big guys together with him kind of being that playmaking forward, or that ball moving offense moving forward. You know, that besides a point guard, that spot, that whether it's one of your guards that kind of takes that role on as the 4-man, that guy's very important in making offense go, from screening and moving and IQ and spacing and just different things. So he gives us the ability to do both.
And Chris, I know you have a question coming up, but I just wanted a follow-up to that. I know you mentioned earlier in the interview that rebounding was a big focal point, and you felt like you were losing some games on the boards. Do you look at that as more of just a schematic thing than a height thing? I mean, are you going to try to fix those problems while still staying small?
Yes. Well, it's a recruiting thing. Mm-hmm. You got to recruit guys that can rebound. Now, while still staying small, I think with the guys we've recruited in the backcourt and the guys returning, that Nick Alame and some of these guys, they'll be able to rebound better than we did last year from the guard spot, which is huge in rebounding numbers. But we've also brought in and we had some guys sitting out. Besides Grayson, we had Patrick Mwamba, who played a lot his first year. He set out, who's a good rebounder and very active player. Trey Jones, who set out last year, redshirted, that is what he is as a rebounder. And then we added a kid, Fred Olendelic, who's a junior college kid, that all he wakes up eating rebounds. And so, so we've added personnel-wise, but then at the same time, I know for us as a staff, we'll continue to emphasize it, and probably emphasize it even more this year, just because it was such a weakness last year.
Absolutely. So you were lucky enough to not only play under a coaching great like Rick Barnes, but you also coached with him for such a long time. And then you got a couple seasons at Texas Tech where you got to coach with Chris Beard. And Chris Beard's a guy who, we talk so highly of him as one of the best coaches in the country. Just kind of this incredible rise that he's had from, being at Little Rock, winning a tournament game, and then all of a sudden, the other day he gets Mac McClung because Texas Tech is a destination and Beard wins there, and it's really cool to see. So we're just curious, do you still maintain communication with Beard, and is there any kind of plan to, obviously you want to get the tough non-conference schedule, or are you going to try to get Texas Tech on that non-conference schedule?
Yeah, well, I stay in close contact with both of them. I mean, 2 great mentors there, front row to 2 really, really great, possible Hall of Fame coaches. And so I stay in contact with both of them. They've both been very helpful, obviously. And then with Beard, we floated the river 2 days ago down here in Texas. So we've been friends for a while, and then we worked together, and now we're still friends. But he's certainly a mentor and a guy I've learned from, and trying to play him. Yeah, I'm trying. We're not there yet. He doesn't love playing friends in those situations, but I'm begging him. I'm trying to. And same thing with Tennessee. I think at some point we'll probably play both of them. Hopefully not in the same year, but we'll probably play both of them. And I stay in contact with those guys all the time.
And then you get Brian Berg in the conference from Texas Tech this year. How's that going to be going up against him? Are there going to be any side wagers, friendly wagers going on between you and him?
Yeah, for sure. There will be. I'm sure the Tech staff will have a line and wagers. But that'll be fun. Berg is an incredible worker and grinder, and a guy that really deserves his chance. Excited to have him in the league. And I'm sure there will be an exchange of friendship gifts. at half court before the game. We always do that when we play friends. We kind of exchange quirky friendship gifts, whatever it may be. And a lot of, one time Joe Golden gave me a rooster. Not a live one, but actually here was a gift. But
you have it?
Oh, here we go.
This is what we're here for.
Oh.
Now, who was that from?
Parrot. Yeah. Actually, I think this one was the one from Joe Golding at Abilene Christian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's hysterical. I love that. You know what you got to do? You got to get the mustache involved in a wager. Like, I mean, you seem to be very confident with it, but I'm sure there's a lot of guys out there and a lot of coaches and maybe even the coaches' wives who are like, I don't want to be growing a mustache.
Chris, you know what?
Doesn't love it, and but yeah, that's a good idea. I'll get the wager going with the mustache.
I think next time you guys play Texas State, maybe we get Chris to do the mustache as well.
Oh,
here.
I mean, yeah. If I'm all for
Why
helping
don't you
out.
come to a game, man? Why don't you come to a game?
We will. We got
actually. Here's the deal. That's actually the game to go to at Texas State. All right, it's in San Marcos. It's in San Marcos. You could fly either into San Antonio or Austin.
Mm-hmm.
Stay in Austin. Party in Austin. Have a great fucking time.
I was in Austin last summer. And awesome city, loved it.
It's awesome.
But, yeah, no, honestly, as long as we can get, knock on wood, fans in the seats for these games coming up, and if we can get to Texas, especially for an Arlington Texas State game, we'll be there. And either way, I'll just have Joe make sure to let me know, hey, it's time for you to grow the mustache out for the battle.
Nice.
All right, Coach. That's all we got for you. I appreciate. We both appreciate you coming on today. It was a good time.
Hey, what's y'all's address, man? I'm gonna send y'all something.
Oh, absolutely.
Awesome.
I'll send it to you afterwards.
Yeah. All right, perfect. You don't want to give it out over the airwaves?
I would, but it's probably easier if I just send it over to you.
Yeah.
All right, Coach. Appreciate it, man. Have
Coach.
good luck the rest of the way, and good luck next year.
Thanks. See you.
Take care.